So thanks for joining. We're just going to give a minute or two, and then we'll kick straight off, as I know a lot of people are joining on for the replay. So just bear with us a minute or two, and we'll get straight into it. Okay, welcome. This afternoon we're talking about pricing. Let's get straight into it. So this is not just about what to charge, but how to think about price so that you are pricing competitively, but equally that you're not leaving money on the table. And I think, you can see a situation where there are two sellers, same item, but completely different prices and completely different outcomes. One lists at 22 quid, sells in a day, super fast, cheap. One lists at 45 quid and sells in 2 weeks, but for 42 pounds. Same item, same condition, very different results. And the difference isn't luck, it's having a pricing method. So, and this is the thing that we're up against, right? There are three things working against us in resale. So one is there's no single source of truth, right? You've got active listings showing asking prices, but not reality. So they're not sold prices. They don't actually reveal what buyers actually pay. And a lot of resellers are actually pricing from the wrong data. You've got platforms with vastly different dynamics. You've got, Ralph Lauren Polo, that might sell for 45 quid on eBay, 28 quid on Vinted, and using one platform's comps is just, it's an error. It's systematically not pricing in a contextually relevant way. And then the third thing, which is often overlooked, to be honest, is the listing quality. This changes what a price feels like, the value of the item. A weak listing, may not hold a fair price. A strong listing can justify a premium. And therefore, the price and the presentation are inseparable. They matter. So let's get into, how do you read comps the right way? As I said earlier, active listings can mislead. Sold prices do tell the truth. So if you look at eBay, you've got active listings, asking prices only. They're not reality. You've got sold filter. This is what people have actually paid. And you've got useful information. Now I know on eBay it's more difficult to find in the sense that there was a filter that's now no longer a filter, so easily to see, but you can still find sold data in Seller Hub. So product research data for free. On Vinted, there is no sold filter. You can't see the prices that are paid. So you need to be a bit creative. You can look at favorites. So how your favorite count shows certainly buyer interest. And you can browse top sellers in your category to gauge how well they're doing, albeit there are limitations to that. But we suggest a 3-point framework here. So you can record the low prices. These are items that sell super fast, median, and high to triangulate and get a sense of comparative pricing for the marketplace in question. And this is something which can get overlooked, is to price with a little bit of room. So we recommend listing, and you can push this further, but we recommend listing between 5 and 10% above your target price to allow a little bit of buffer there. In the case of eBay Best Offer, this enables the buyer to negotiate, or at least offer, and they feel like they've won. In the case of Vinted, it enables price drops as well as Vinted people are interested on Vinted to actually offer. And there's a whole bunch of deal psychology. In the sense of the buyer, they feel that they've negotiated a win. And a listing, a listing that has best offer might outperform a listing of the same item of 45 quid, buy it now. And this offers you a little bit of margin protection, a bit of buffer. Now, on the same side, what we wouldn't recommend is being too greedy with this. So I think you do need to look closely at the competition in the context of the platform, sold prices, active listings, favorite, and the condition of the item to then determine where do you sit with this bit of buffer that you can add in. And as I alluded to, right, eBay and Vinted are very different platforms. eBay skews older. You've got more brand conscious consumers. You've got people that are prepared to pay more. But on the flip side, it's a slower sell through, but you can hold your price. So you can use best offer to negotiate without dropping your listed price. Vinted, on the other hand, skews younger. It's much more price sensitive. You've got more high street brands, and you've got no reseller fees. So you've got more margin to play with. So you can price more competitively, and speed is important, much more important than eBay in terms of rotation and how quickly you can generate interest on the platform within 24, 48 hours of listing. So the psychology of price is interesting, right? Because it's not always about having the lowest price. Now, having said that, there are dynamics such as, charm pricing, £29.99 versus £30 definitely plays that dynamic, and you should leverage. As we talked about, the high-low tactic of 5 to 10% above market rate. And then actually, this is interesting. So this can happen particularly in high-value categories where you can have an item sitting for a long period of time at a lower price. But actually, it would be better listing at a higher price to valorize the offer. And it can be the case that actually it's perceived to be higher quality and too cheap. Perhaps outside of clothing more than in clothing, or more on the premium designer end. But I do think you need to be careful not to undervalue certain items, perhaps less mainstream and less commoditized, if I can call it that, than other categories. So in the case of eBay, we recommend listing 5 to 10% above the target. So this could mean, your market rate is £50, you target at £52, £55, so you're able to accept some offers on it. We would enable best offer, which we can do. You can do directly in eBay, of course. You can also do with aesthetic and send offers. They're much more likely to convert, and a 5% triggers a notification. So be proactive, not passive, and respond quickly, which is equally true on Vinted. Here you've got clearly no seller fees, so you can be a bit more aggressive, a bit more competitive on your pricing, but do allow some room, because I've yet to hear of a transaction on Vinted that hasn't involved some form of offer. And the price drop is free remarketing. So if you do have a slightly higher price and you do drop that price at one point or another, that's going to notify your favoriters. And a listing quality does justify a premium. So condition, we'll talk about in a moment, also justifies a premium. So strong title, measurements, color, good photos, factually accurate description that's rich will justify a higher price than identical items that don't have that are weak in that respect. So just as a practical reference point, these are not rules, but starting points. So what we see with respect to item type, so designer, premium, and brand, so where to price it versus or percentage of retail, and then condition. So excellent, 70 to 80% of retail, good, 55 to 65. And here, fair, this is much more flexible and depends very much on the particular item and the particular flaw, clearly. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Dijon. So I've talked a little bit about giving you some context, giving you some frameworks, hopefully some food for thought. And I'm going to hand over to Dijon to start with, just on the conversation we were mentioning a moment ago. Super important how strong the listings are. So we'll start first with looking at listings in our platform, looking at some examples, show you around a little bit, and then we can show you, and Dijon will show you a little bit some of the functionality that you can do to achieve some of those pricing strategies within our dashboard. So bear with me a second and let's get into it. Dijon, over to you.
Hi, thanks, Duncan. So mainly I will take you through how to use our dashboard effectively, like how to listing and cover the pricing point when Duncan referred. So basically, like to use our dashboard or to manage your listing, the first things to log into our dashboard, go to the marketplace, connect your store. So what you need to do right now is upload your items to our dashboard. Then our AI system will generate all the details for you. So what you need to do here is click upload, select upload images, select the items or garments you want to listing or prepare to list. Select them. Give a SKU number or generate UUID. You can add a SKU number later in the eBay. So for example, just give a random number. So now the data is going to our system. So we will give back all the detail for you. You don't need to do anything else. Just upload the images. We will take care of the rest for you. So we show some example data here for you to see what it looks like. For example, this is a set of comments. Once you upload the images, our system finished processing. You can see we fill in this title, condition, category, size, condition, description, and all the details regarding to the platforms. For this one, we fill in all this recommended field for eBay. So we do everything for you. Then you're ready to publish. To publish, you can click this one and click publish. It then will send this data and listing this item to your eBay account. So regarding to the price, as Duncan said, so there's a price. By default, we will do a recommended price for you, which we based on Google search and Google Shopping. So by giving items, so we will fill in this price for you. For the existing customer, if you find out this price doesn't been filled yet, just contact us. We can do the configuration for you. For all the new users, if you register in our dashboard, this recommended price will automatically being configured for you already. You will see the recommended price already. So that's the first way we can do the price. So the second, if you upload your data, I'll just refresh it. If you see that this item has been done already. So there's a second way you can ask human to in the loop to check what's the price in the market. For example, in here we have a magnify here. You can click it. So then we will search the item in the eBay. So you can see what's the other seller. They are selling this price. So you can choose one of it to see, okay, is this what the item you want to refer to? There are two ways to search. One is by title, one is by image. So you can see like this, we will search this item in the eBay or the current active listing you can refer to as your price reference. So that's the second way. Or the third way, you can use a Google search or use a Google Lens. Just click the images. If you use Chrome, find the images, right click. You can see there's a search images with Google Lens. Then you can find the corresponding items which are recommended by Google Shopping, which is good price reference as well. So basically, like that's the pricing, and also as you're selling more in our listing more and sold more in our platforms, we also synchronize your data to checking like what's the sales through, the average sold price in different categories, the average time to sales. Also, you can get a hint what's the price about each different items. Well, as you have more data, so we will learn more. We can recommend more correct price for you. So there are different ways to do the pricing. So regarding this, like, so basically, like this is for eBay. We do Vinted as well, so which require a bit more configuration. If you're interested in Vinted, so do not hesitate to contact us. So we manage both platforms, so you can publish eBay and Vinted at the same times, so which will help you to manage as well. So we have some other functions, so which help you to manage the related to price. It's more related to the offers. So in the eBay, you can select the items. For example, here, click the listing. So you have seen these different functions which publishing just publish this item, listing this item into eBay. We do the bulk listing, bulk delist, relist, and what's more is send offers, which you see like we synchronize how many watches for your items in the eBay as well. So if you click the send offers, if your items you want to sell quickly and you have some watches, you can send offers to them. So you can click here. You can bulk sending offers, like select all these 8 items, send offers in one go. You can drop price a little bit, like you want discount price like 5%, for examples. Then we will drop the price by your original price 5% and send the offers to your users, to the watchers, and somebody interested in these items, which is a very efficient way to notify the users. Also, it's like in the settings for the eBay, we do the auctions and the offers as well. So go to the settings, eBay, click the market, eBay air listing. You see there's a list preference. By default, it's fixed price, as what you see in our dashboard. That's a fixed price, but you can also enable the offers. Turn it on. So like you can select, okay, if the current price, the buy now price, you can select 90%, or auto accept, or auto declined. If you feel it's too low, like if it's lower than 65%, for example, you don't want to talk to them, just auto decline and auto accept. This will help you to manage very efficiently, and also the auctions as well. It's still the same philosophies. Start bidding price. But be aware, like in the eBay, the auction will charge you for some fees in the eBay. Basically, that's what we provide for now for the listing and the price management. Yeah, so we have more comes in the very soon. So we see like more like the sold price we refer to in the very soon. So that's everything. Thanks. Hand it to Duncan.
Thanks, Dijon. So yeah, so one of the things you saw there, lots of functionality in the platform. One of the things we are particularly keen on doing, which is fundamentally getting the listing to be super strong. So to start with, that's the first port of call. But you could see as well, there's additional functionality. So with respect to offers, particularly on eBay, which is super helpful to manage effectively, actively manage your listings. So your action this week, I'd pick 10 old unsold listings. I'd check the comps on eBay. I'd look at the 5 to 10%. So where are you pricing and enable best offer and send to offers. So if you've got listings that are sitting there, be active, proactively manage it, check the prices, check the listing itself, and adjust accordingly. We do have a workshop exclusive offer for new sign-ups. So 50 free items, free setup, and £10 off your free month. If you're interested, then please don't hesitate. There's a couple QR codes. You can sign in to our dashboard and get started for free. That's the link there, which you can see, sign in with Google. And then to activate the offer, just use that QR code. It sends a pre-populated message to us so that we can get that code, the AI workshop, onto your account. And we know that that's the offer, the 10% off your first month and the offer is itself. So with that, that's it for this week. Yeah, pause if there's any Q&A, any questions, anything about your specific situation with respect to pricing, listing flow, or otherwise, please don't hesitate to drop in the chat. And Dijon and I will be happy to answer. So we'll pause for a moment, and if there's any questions, please shoot there. Yeah. No worries, happy to. Cool. Well, look, we are running these workshops. We're running them periodically, diving into different subjects and different areas related to listing, selling, some of the challenges, some of the opportunities. If there are areas that you're particularly interested, please just drop us a line, put a comment in here or elsewhere. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you all and speaking to you soon. Thanks so much and have a good rest of the day. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.